What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. My name is Mitch. I'm one of your hosts that you hear every single week, and alongside me, as always, I got...
I'm Buzi.
And today we are welcoming back the very first guest that we ever had on the show, where we talked about, it was all the way back on episode 14. We talked about Candyman and counterfeiting money, and he was the editor on our film, The Druid's Hand. And he's one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Welcome, Jason Hamill.
Yay.
Great to be here, guys. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
All right. Well, welcome to the spooky table, Jason. We're going to be talking about spooky movies today. We are continuing our trend of triple features that all fall into the same subgenre. So today we will be discussing, I guess it'll be starting with Jason's pick, which was DEERSKIN. I think it was 2009.
2019.
Oh,
it is new.
Yeah.
Okay.
We picked like a bunch of new movies.
Yeah, they're all newer releases, ish. And then we'll be talking about Buzi's pick, the Neon Demon, Nicholas Winding Refn's Neon Demon. And we'll be closing things off with my pick, Fred Durst, the FANATIC. So we got an eclectic bunch of films here to discuss today. So that's going to be lots of fun. But before that, let's just catch up on what we've been up to and what we've been seeing. So Jason, what is new in the world? I see you every couple of days. So I'm trying to pretend like I don't know everything.
Step aside, Mitch. Let me do this.
Yeah, you take it away.
Jason, what have you learned and how have you changed since episode 14 of the Terror Table? I don't even remember discussing Candyman in that. I just remember him talking about counterfeiting money and some old guy with bikes. What was it? Did you steal bikes or buy bikes from him?
Barry, we stole bikes for Barry to fix to sell. Yeah.
Shout out Barry.
Shout out Barry.
Quick scheme.
Hope you still have that giant NDP sign in your yard.
Very progressive of him.
I guess it's the last time I was on the episode, going on the theme of completely not talking about a movie, is found out recently I have like ADHD. Surprise to nobody. But
welcome to the club.
Yeah, who would have thought it?
So probably a direct explanation of why that happened. Also, like a mix of as much as I am a guy who does work in film professionally, I know so little and I'm very bad about talking about it.
No, you know lots of stuff. You know how to mash up hardcore songs with Gilbert Gottfried from Problem Child 2.
Your dad is a moron! He's a moron! He's a moron! You know what a moron is? That's what your dad is!
Well, dude, that's just it's so easy. Gilbert Gottfried was
that's not easy. That's a skill. My good sir.
He was born to do hardcore. He just didn't know it.
He was born to be knocked loose, but it just wasn't the time. He didn't work out.
I mentioned before we started recording that Jason looks like the lead singer of Knocked Loose now. You look like a hardcore guy.
Oh yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah. Well, Buzi, do you have any other questions to grill Jason with while we?
So Jason, have you ever had COVID before?
Just got it actually. First time. Original recipe. Got it.
Right. And how would you describe it? How are you feeling?
Has no one on this podcast had COVID?
I haven't.
I have it.
I guess it's different for everybody. I had a head cold like 5 weeks ago, and COVID has been more mild than the cold I had 5 weeks ago. I think I've more or less just been annoyed that I went 2.5 years without getting sick, and then within 5 weeks span, I got sick twice.
Oh, so you're saying the libs might be blowing this thing out of proportion, are you?
Dude, I see a lot of Bill Gates graffiti in my neighborhood.
Yes.
And it's got me convinced. It's microchips. He's following us. He tracks our every movements.
That all checks out. Now, Jason, would you say that your relationship has been stronger with former guest of the show, Lauren, since she's been on the Terror Table, and now that you're going to be on there? Do you feel like this is a bonding moment that you guys can reflect on later?
There's been a lot of jealousy and anger in our house over it. A lot of "how dare yous" have been thrown around. How could you? I mostly I have that episode on rotation, and I just sit and wallow in anger. I'm like, why wasn't I talked about more in this episode? How come there is not more mentions of me? Clearly the most important person.
Yeah, Lauren was on our episode talking about dolls, magic, and Puppet Master. That was semi recently.
You know, that's a triple feature. I feel like you could get like established horror fans to actually listen to that. This is going to get like one viewer that can be like, wow, that is like niche beyond niche.
This is a pretty niche episode, but that's what's these are always the ones that make for the best ones.
Yeah, we're trying to find those like sleeper ones where one person's like, hey, is anyone talking about the Fanatic? We are.
Someone needed to. It's about time we throw some representation towards the
more
Fanatic.
like Limp Bizkit fans reviewing it as well.
Represent.
We need a good bias going in.
Have you guys tried getting Fred Durst on this podcast?
No, I need to get my A game up before I reach out to Mr. Durst.
Oh, just wait till he stops touring. I imagine his life gets pretty quiet.
Do you know the Jinx, like Robert Durst?
Right, yeah. R.I.P. you piece of shit.
What?
Do you not know who Robert Durst is?
No, I don't.
Oh, he killed a bunch of people and got away with it.
But he admitted to doing it all with
on a documentary. Yeah,
on a documentary because he had
he had a hot mic while he went to the bathroom.
He went to the bathroom and started talking to himself.
You know, Fred Durst killed a lot of microphones and got away with it too.
That's true. What happens when the microphone can't be brought back to life? All right, you guys, let's start talking about what we've been seeing. Some horror movies. So, Jason, do you want to lead us off? Because you've seen a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I've seen a bunch of stuff. I've got like the world's tiniest brain when it comes to remembering things I do throughout the day. So if you see me on America's Most Wanted, I'll probably have no recollection of what I did to end up there.
Now that doesn't give you a pass. We understand where you're coming from. That still doesn't give you a pass.
No, lock me up, throw away the key. Like Green Mile me all the way. Fucking.
I'm tired, boss.
That's just Jason editing. Tired, boss.
No, there's a lot more screaming, I think, when I'm doing that. I went saw Men in the Black Phone. Mitch, I'm sure he's talked about both of them. You know, they were fine. One thing I was actually surprised about that I watched, because like, you know, being sick, all you do is just lay around and watch TV for all day. I just completely binged the new Stranger Things season 4, and I hadn't seen seasons 2 or 3, but like they had some savage children like dead.
You jumped right to 4.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, now I get why Mitch is annoyed when I do shit like that. What did you get out of season 4? Like, I've only seen season 1, so like that would be like me doing it.
You just watch the season recaps and you can put 2 and 2 together. It's fine.
Okay, so you felt like you were caught up on the recaps?
I had to ask Lauren a couple of questions, and honestly, it was just like it all made sense. It's
Right.
like, okay, they're just still doing the same thing. And actually, it's like I was surprised by how savage it kind of got, though. It was more gruesome than the Black Phone was.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're more interested in Metallica now?
Dude, Master of Puppets, that riff rules, fucking hands down.
Master of Puppets fucking rules, bro.
It does. And that scene in season 4, I didn't even write that down to talk about, but yeah, I've finished season 4.
Okay, I was wondering why is everybody obsessed with that? Like, everybody's posting a picture of just this dude playing guitar.
He's the most likable character in the season. He's a new character, and they do a lot of really cool things with him. But like, yeah, those like finales, like it's so funny because when I was in Saskatoon last time for the premiere, my mom just started watching season 1. Like, she had never watched Stranger Things before. Shout out Debbie. And she was watching it, and like I've liked every season a lot, but season 1, like, it's crazy how obviously the budget has gone exponentially higher with these new ones. Like, season 4 looks fucking crazy. You can just see all the money that they're dumping into it. But I loved it, but it is like the same thing that happens every season. Even though, Jason, you haven't seen 2 or 3, all of them have the exact same fucking ending.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, hey, well, we're some kids and we got a girl with powers and she defeated the thing, and then the girl's gone, and then season 2 happens, like the girl's gone, oh, then we get her back and she uses her powers to save the day. In season 3, the girl tries to fit in, loses her power, monster comes around, girl uses power to get rid of monster, and then her powers are gone. I don't know, like, it's like, hey man, I'm cool with a TV show that I call it seesaw. It just goes up and down. It's the same thing. Hey, it's like they spent like $30 million per episode. The thing is going to look and sound good, and I don't need to be more than that.
Exactly. I know, I agree, and I just love the show. I love the feeling that I get watching it. The characters, just some of them become that. What's really impressive about Stranger Things is like the character arcs of them like specifically one character, Steve, starts off as kind of a dink, and then by even end of season 2, you're just in love with them. So like that's what I really love about the show.
There is some really likable characters, like David Harbour's character in it too.
Yeah.
It's like really easy to latch on to, right?
He's looking great now too, since he's been locked up in Russia for so many years.
Oh man, put me on that diet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was actually thinking. I was like, maybe what I need to do is just get kidnapped by the KGB.
Body by gulag.
Yeah, no, he's looking awesome. The kids just get more and more. Finn Wolfhard, what a fucking awkward.
He looks like a young Ashton Kutcher. Have you noticed?
No,
I was looking at him like he looks like a young Kelso is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, maybe Kelso.
Pull up a photo of him right now and tell me that does not look like young Kelso.
Hack into the mainframe.
I'm just gonna, because I got that fresh in the brain, I'm gonna look up young Kelso instead.
That sounds like a really bad That 70s Show spinoff.
Yeah, but he's definitely
young
like,
Kelso.
Ashton. He's no Ashton Kutcher. Like Ashton Kutcher is a handsome old fella. But no, yeah, the characters are just really enjoyable, really likable, and yeah, I love season 4. I think it's the best season yet. So,
right.
I recommend on that one. You did just skim past Men in the Black Phone. Let's hear your thoughts, because
Yeah,
I know
you just said they were all right.
Yeah, like Men was like one of those things. It's like, it's. I'm a big fan of like self-indulgent movies, but like to a certain extent, like that's why I find like Nicholas Winding Refn gets a pass, because like he's so purposely self-indulgent and up his own ass. I'm like, fine, just give it to me, whatever.
Yeah,
and
let us up that ass that you love so much.
And then like Alex Garland, like he's not quite at that level of pretentiousness. I don't think. No. He's pretentious, but he's not like, you know, otherworldly pretentious. He's not from Saturn or anything. Shit. So it was nice to look at, but it was just like, I guess, I don't know. I don't really have issues with movies that are like super on the nose about like what their symbolisms or anything like that. But it was like, oh, Garden of Eden analogy. It was kind of pulled my eyes a little bit. The ending of it though, like when those guys keep.
Oh, dude, we can't spoil that.
Well, who gives a shit?
I'll beep that though, just because if people haven't seen it yet. Like, because that's the reason to watch that movie.
What?
Just the ending, like that's some of the best horror all year. It's just like there's like fucking 10 or 15 minutes of just extreme horror that was pretty wicked, but it is like the reason to watch the movie, because even I had heard that. I was like, it's really, really slow, and then by the end it just goes fucking wild, and can confirm.
Yeah, like the performances and stuff in it, and like I don't know, like when you hit like a director like of that quality and like you have a budget like that, like you're gonna get a lot of good stuff out of movies like that. Like sometimes the scripts, you know, can kind of fail you a bit, or they can be a bit too heady, but you're always gonna get like great performances usually and great visuals, and so at the least you can take those away with it.
It's the Fred Durst way, my man. What about the Black Phone?
I did like it. I did like Ethan Hawke in it, because you know, as far as like, you know, the Gacy type, you know, serial killer tropes in movies go, like he did bring something a little different to it. He was a lot more, I guess, I won't say
sexy?
toned down. he was very it seemed like a very calming presence, like for like a clearly a child murderer. He was very like soft spoken. I thought that was like a really interesting approach to it. Yeah, it was like, I feel like Black Phone pairs well with like Stranger Things, where it's just like, you got that nice wash of nostalgia over it. It's like it takes place in small town USA, as opposed to, you know, like Los Angeles or Vancouver or Toronto. And so like I'm a sucker for stuff like that. And honestly, the child actors in it all, I think, did all pretty good job. Like none of them like annoyed me, which is a big issue I have with kid actors. It's like they either annoy me or they don't. I mean, there's no in between.
Agreed. Yeah, Buzi, you got to get out for that one. I know you don't have a lot of time coming up here, but
I've got time for Ethan Hawke.
I would say that movie, it's like if your theater still does like a cheap Tuesday, I'm like, that's a solid cheap Tuesday recommendation.
I don't know. Do any theaters do that?
Yeah, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, most theaters do.
I'm pretty sure the theater in Moose Jaw still does it, but then again,
that'll be very you know, financially easy for me to just drive to Moose Jaw for that.
Hey,
the deals.
Nothing like driving like 2.5 hours to go to a theater to save $5.
I almost drove 2.5 hours to go see The Shape of Water. at the Regina Theater because it wasn't playing anywhere in Saskatoon.
Would that have been worth it for you?
Fuck no, I did no.
Okay, good.
I know a
Good.
lot of people.
I just wanted to ask you.
It's also not. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not one of my favorites of
I
his.
wouldn't
But
drive to Regina for
lots
it.
of people really love that movie.
I would drive to Regina if my fucking mom's funeral was there. It sucks. Hey, shout out Regina. You suck. You stink. You canceled.
Regina. Experience Regina.
Regina is the capital city of Saskatchewan with around 200,000 people and a devoted
Experience
Regina.
Experience Regina.
You know what Regina rhymes with? Suck show. Because you suck.
We're going to have to edit that out. That was really offensive.
Fuck that.
Just bleep it to make it sound like it's more offensive than it is.
Regina does suck. Oh, it's funny though. We actually do have a bunch of listeners from Regina.
Do we?
And I guarantee you they all think it sucks too. Bevan,
probably.
Cassie.
Bevan
That's
doesn't
my
count.
bunch. Yeah. So all right, Men, The Black Phone, Stranger Things season 4. Yeah, they really put Order 66 to shame in Stranger Things season 4. Like they really upped the ante. They set the bar high. You know.
Oh
Order
man,
66.
yeah, that fucking
They slaughter
number one
kids in
number.
this.
Yeah, like those kills were like where he like breaks all their bones and like
Yeah.
like
And
rips their
eats-
eyes out.
and makes bread with them. Always they're grinding their bones, they're making bread, doing other ogre
If you want to
stuff.
do the stepfather thing, Boozy, you should just start season 4 of Stranger Things, just
Dude,
the first episode, and it's
Yeah.
within the first 10 minutes you'll see what we're talking about. It's fucking wild. They put a warning up on it actually in the US
Actually?
because it was like right after the school shooting, and it was like
Maybe they
maybe
should just-
people don't want to tune into something to get their mind off things and just see a bunch of kids getting slaughtered.
That's true, but I feel like maybe they should just leave those kind of warnings on there because it seems like that's a fairly regular occurrence there.
Yeah, but whatever.
Just leave them.
So speaking of which, though, that actually could segue into one of the movies I watch because I watch a lot and I want to get through all of them, and I don't want us to do like a 3-hour episode. So I'm going to try be speedy with mine since I am going to try cover a lot. What do you guys feel about warnings of things like that? Like, do you think that's
I
fair?
think it's good. Yeah, I think it's apt. I think it's needed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like, oh, did that 3-second warning on screen that like potentially like make a decision for someone that wouldn't want to see some content?
Exactly.
Is it really ruining your day? It's like I think it's just due diligence, I think.
Yeah, and I could see some people being like, well, it's a spoiler and it obviously serves the purpose and you're supposed to be shocked when you see it, but that's actually one of the things I want to bring up in regards to a film that I watched this week called The Innocents. It's a Norwegian drama horror. I see a lot of people saying that it's not a horror movie, and I think they're fucking insane. Like it's definitely one of those A24-esque elevated horror films, but just so you know, this is like
It's cinema.
it is cinema. This is definitely one of my favorite horror movies of the year so far if we're considering horror. So yeah, it's written and directed by Eskil Vogt, and he was the writer of a film called Thelma. Boozy, I think you watched Thelma. I can't rember if that was you. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard really good things about that one. I haven't seen it, but yeah, he's the writer of Thelma. That one gained a lot of attention across like the indie circuit.
I do not remember this one. No.
But he just wrote Thelma, and he also wrote The Worst Person in the World, which was like nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best International Film at the Oscars. It was like a very well-regarded film. I know they're playing it at the Rio frequently. I still haven't seen it. I really want to. I've heard it's great. But so this one, though, he wrote and directed it. And it is all so well done and put together. It's just like a really well-constructed concept that's kind of feels a little whimsical at times because it's all set around kids with abilities. And that can turn people off. I know. I would just say this is like Chronicle meets Let the Right One In. They're not vampires, but it is
Cool.
It's a little twisted. It's one of those movies that it really shows the innocence of kids being lost. Shoving my hand up my ass while I'm saying that because I sound like a dipshit. But it is like it's really fucked up. There's the reason were to bring it back around to what we were talking about. Once again, we were talking about the whole ADD thing before. That this is a prime example of this in full force right now. But there's a pretty brutal cat scene, so I want to give people a heads up. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, it's really bothersome. There's one scene that's just really kind of fucked up, and I know it's the type of thing that could really ruin someone's day, and that's not what I don't know.
Like preemptive watch All Dogs Go to Heaven, and then they'll be like, oh well, all cats do belong in hell, so they won't feel as bad.
Yeah, no, it's just it's kind of like Children of the Corn by way of The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin. Like,
I am so on the fence about that movie, and it's not because like I have anything against like Macaulay Culkin or that movie. Just the score for The Good Son is so out of place, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's just like so happy and cheerful, and you're like, no,
what
man, this
is The Good Son from that you guys are?
You've seen The Good Son, right?
I don't think I have.
Oh man, I've seen that movie so many fucking times. I own it on VHS. No, the score is kind of like a fucking like an ambulance score, and then what's Elijah Wood's name in that? So Mark. Don't fuck with me, Mark. That one scene where Macaulay Culkin just breaks. Oh, that's a great movie. I really like that one. But yeah, The Innocence was really good. I highly recommend it. It is one of those ones where it has an upsetting scene that clearly serves the purpose of the story, and it's meant to be there for a reason. But it is super upsetting. It says a lot that I would like. This film is just covered with kids. Like, it's all kids with like a couple kids who have abilities, and then ones who start to see if they might have them as well. But it's really straight faced, and it's got that kind of it's a Norwegian movie, so it doesn't feel like a Chronicle or anything like that. Like, it doesn't feel westernized in any way, which is what makes it kind of work. Yeah, it really works in my opinion. But that one scene, like, all of the movies I'm talking about today, I was talking to Lauren about this today because I've been recommending all these movies to her because she's got COVID, and I was like, I haven't done the Home Alone face so much than the amount that I have in the last couple days, like just holding my face and being like, I don't know if I can keep watching. And that's going to come up with like a couple of other movies I'm going to talk about today. But The Innocence, if I have any like real criticism towards it, though, it's a little long. It could be cut down a little shorter, but it's like 2 hours, feels like 3. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
All right, Buzi, you hit us with one.
All right, so I have a couple things I've watched, and it all revolves around TV series. So the first one is I've been checking out the Chucky TV series.
Yes, Devon Sawa represent.
Yeah, I really think this is like fantastic. I'm like, I know I'm late to the party on it, but like just the way they handled like the lore and everything, and how Chucky acts is like they really encapsulated it, I think, in a cool way, and did update it as well, which I kind of like. I mirror those sentiments with the movie as well. But like I don't know, I think it's a lot of fun. I watched the kills are a lot more brutal than I thought any of them would be, and like characters that I didn't think would get killed right away did.
So you haven't finished it yet?
No, I haven't finished it yet, but like I've been really fucking impressed by this.
Man, that makes me so happy to hear, because maybe that means you're a Child's Play fan, because like you've never really been.
I know,
a Chucky guy, but man, that show is such a good representation of
Is this show based on like the Don Mancini canon?
It's a continuation.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
okay.
And it's like Don Mancini wrote and I think he directed the first couple episodes, but he wrote all of it.
Now, does it take place after like the last movie?
It takes place after Curse of Chucky. So it does play it. Like, that's what I'm like. I remember when I was watching it, like the first couple episodes, I was just blown away. I'm like, holy fuck, this is awesome. Like, this is a treat for anyone who's a Child's Play fan. But then like in the middle, it kind of goes into the Curse of Chucky that I don't like, but it finds its way back.
I must not have hit that part yet.
Well, I don't know. You might also not have an issue with it. You might.
That's true. Because I haven't seen Curse either.
Yeah, that's the other. It's like one of the only, like, man, that series is so fucking consistent in my opinion. Like, I love most of them. Curse is just.
I feel like Curse of Chucky has the same issue I think I find with like Brian De Palma's latter movies, where they pay a lot of money for like the intellectual property, right, or to have like De Palma do a movie, and then just the budget everywhere else just suffers, and it shows, and you're like, man, it's someone on the top.
Was the property worth that?
It was like someone on the top needs to take a smaller paycheck so like they could make something that's just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Agreed, man. Okay, so Buzi, but let's plan to do a Child's Play series.
I would love to do a Child's Play series.
Yeah, like we'll do like what we did with Halloween and Final Destination. Maybe we'll split it up into 2 episodes though.
Oh, I think we definitely have to.
I really love your Final Destination TV series that the Terror Table produced. Just have to say that right now.
Is that what I said? Fuck, I'm tired.
No.
No, I do have to say though, Child's Play, or Chucky, amazing kill. There's a kill in there that makes me afraid of being near my dishwasher, and that's saying something.
Oh man, yeah, that one's good. That one's good. And like we something that is going to come up later on in the show, that's just very ironic that this is coming up. Well, that's now 3 things that we talk about: the Fanatic, Chucky, and we mentioned Final Destination. But Devon Sawa, we love Devon Sawa.
What a
at the Terror Table.
His Twitter is off the hook.
Jason, you're not a Devon Sawa.
Devon
fan,
Sawa
right?
gives me power. That was a lyric in one of my band songs. We're very much not worth listening to.
Was that Perverts?
Yeah, well, we would tour with like our friend who would do vocals for us sometimes, and he would just completely change the lyrics to songs. So the hook to like a song went from like, I don't know, a normal garbage lyric to Devon Sawa gives me power.
Yeah, and that was Skylar, who we watched The Fanatic with. So that's another cute shout out.
This is like some very inside baseball, right?
But no, what if like
well,
Chucky?
I'm gonna put if I could, just stop to this right now.
The Chucky TV series. What I was getting at is there's 2 Devon Sawas. So the only thing better than 1 Devon Sawa is 2 Devon Sawas. Would we agree, Buzi?
Double the trouble, double the power, as Jason would
double
say.
The Sawa.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So Chucky's TV series, yeah, man, I really like it. And it got renewed for another season, so I'm looking forward to that.
I saw. I'm glad that I'm at a point where I can watch it fully, and season 2 isn't out yet, so I can be fresh for that. Because Jennifer Tilly's going to be in that.
Yeah, well, she's in this one. She's in the.
Oh, is she?
Whoops, sorry.
No, that's no. I just had seen something the other day that she's on for season 2. I didn't realize, but that's totally fine. Yay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can also look out for a Chucky or a Child's Play series from the Terror Table. Maybe split up in 2 episodes, do 2 beefy ones. Okay, cool. So Chucky TV series. Jason, do you got something else you want to chat with us about?
Oh, as far as like recent watches, I should have made a list.
Have you seen X?
Oh,
yeah, we've seen.
I mean, Mitch went to it, and I almost ruined the movie for some people.
You saved it for most.
God, this isn't a spoiler, but there's a moment where they play the song "Landslide" in that movie, and just like what is like happening on screen made me burst into laughter like for like 3 straight minutes. And like people were kind of staring at us for about a couple seconds. I
would say it was about 4 seconds, and then they were all on board.
And then they jumped on it. So then I started laughing harder. It's just like
I honestly think, and I even said it when we were reviewing it the first time, that X was one of the best theatrical experiences I've had in a long time. And your laugh at that moment played a huge role in it, because it just made like everyone was so on board with that movie. The whole theater was like vibrating.
Yeah, it was just what they were showing on screen. It's 2 things that are I don't know, they're very vastly different, and my brain was just like landslide to this moment right now.
And they had like the edit with like the two screens kind of coming into one.
Don't get me wrong, I think Chelsea Wolfe did that cover. Well, I know she did the score, and it's a great cover and everything, but I couldn't contain it. I'm like, how did no one just be like, guys, this is absurd? Or they knew it was funny, and they put this movie out into the world just for me to laugh my fucking ass off at.
Are we talking like the same Chelsea Wolfe that like worked with Converge?
Yeah. She did the score. She did the score for it, and it's
that's honestly cool,
dude. The score is great.
X was great. Like I was kind of mid. I had some cool stuff on it. It was kind of. Did you finish it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh man, I thought you would have loved that one, especially considering the
They
gator,
had, oh man, that scene was
that flat
perfect.
fuck.
Yeah, that was so good.
But as far as things I'm watching right now, this is nothing new and it's nothing good. But me and Lauren started watching the Saw franchise after we watched the Paranormal Activity franchise backwards. We started at the last one and made our way to the first one, and now we're watching we just finished Saw 5 the other night. And you want to talk to someone, like it's really hard, like as like a film editor, to be like, oh, is that have movie have bad editing? It's like it has like it's so subjective, right? You could be like, well, I didn't agree with this or that. But man, those Saw movies, they're fucking Swiss cheese. Holy shit. Like it's actually hard for me to watch them without going just like my soul is hurting.
But that was that like mid 2000s like new metal energy of
it was like everyone
trying
trying to do the opening credits to like Fincher movies, but the whole movie.
Yeah, that's the best way
to
or like a fucking Disturbed music video is what they were trying to make a feature length version.
You got stupefied.
It's like that stuff where it'll zoom in on someone screaming in their mouth and then it'll zoom out and it'll be somewhere completely different and wild shit is happening.
In the third one, there's a lot of like canned child laughter, like like the stuff you'd hear like on a YTV commercial where they're just like, we need children playing, and there's so much of the same sound effect, and it's like the moment you notice it once, you can't unhear it. Right?
Is it kind of like the like kid chattering at the start of like POD, like Youth of the Nation? I've heard that sound effect in like a bunch of different TV shows.
Pretty much
like, that's the Youth of the Nation.
All the videos that you make, Jason, have shit like that. Like, another shout out to Druid's Hand is that when we were cutting the film together, or when you were cutting the film together, and there's one part near the finale where we're hearing a lot of sounds going on, and I was like, Jesus Christ, Jason. I was like, where'd you find these sounds of like dogs dying? He's like, oh, don't worry, those are just kids.
Well, they weren't kids. There were kids dying. It was like, I need a monster screaming.
Don't worry, I have tons of sounds of kids dying. None of dogs, though. Do you think I'm a fucking weirdo?
Yeah, I'm not a monster.
No, it's like like, oh, you hear a monster scream. Well, it's not gonna scream like me. So I was like, I don't know. I'll just download some babies screaming because babies make awful fucking sounds. And
that
then
would be pretty funny.
And then you slow it down a little bit so it's got a lower pitch, and then it just sounds real weird.
It would be pretty funny to do another alternate cut of just that ending and have Ryan Dunn getting the car put up his ass.
Better yet, when that, or just the sound of popcorn popping.
That's a good one too. Jeez. Awesome. Yeah, so the Saw movies have you enjoyed any of them, or you guys just like,
oh man, you know what Saw movies are? They are just gruesome Hallmark movies. Like the acting is bad. They are so green looking, it is bizarre. Yeah, those are like low budget Hallmark movies with like just some high budget gore in them, and that's it. That's what I realized.
And Chester Bennington at one point.
Oh, you haven't even gone to that one yet.
Oh, is he actually in one of those movies?
He's in the 3D one. He plays the skinhead.
I don't know if I've seen the 3D one.
Well, you'll get there.
People haven't.
Oh man, I have so much to look forward to.
Yeah. You pointed out actually, because something I haven't watched those movies in a while, but like how Jigsaw's like reasonings for getting people into traps gets worse.
The first three movies, like his reasoning gets like, I'll say like okay after the fourth one. Like the third movie, he kidnaps a woman and straps a device to her neck because she takes antidepressants because her kid died.
Yeah,
You're not living life to your fullest if your kid died. You are taking meds. It's like okay.
Like he's gonna abduct a bunch of stoners in a basement. You guys are wasting all your time smoking weed all day in the basement.
I feel like Saw is kind of like Death, though, in the sense like when you first watch it when you're young, you're like, oh, this bad guy's got such good reasoning. He's so smart. And then you rewatch it and you're like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
These people are just trying to make it as adults, and he's just ruining their life.
He's like, oh, I had cancer and you take pills, and I don't agree with pills. So you now have to pee on an electric fence.
Hi, I'm Jigsaw, and welcome to Jackass. Awesome. Okay, well, I'll knock a couple more off too. The Righteous. I got a chance to check out The Righteous, which is a movie that's written and directed by Mark O'Brien. It's also starring Mark O'Brien. So this is a guy, he's been like, he's an actor in like Arrival, Ready or Not, to the City on a Hill. Like he's been in Marriage Story. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of like credible stuff, like really good things. Basically, it's a black and white Bergman-esque film, some
This
would
looks
call.
cool.
Yeah, it's just a very simple story of like, one house. It's a priest who's lost his faith. You've never heard that story before. But he's lost his faith because he got married and he left the church to get married to a woman. And it's one of those ones where a stranger arrives one night and they end up taking him in. That stranger turns out to not be who he says he is. But even like when he arrives, he doesn't know who he is. It's almost like he's Jason Bourne at the beginning, like he's got like amnesia or something. But it's one of those movies that's almost entirely set around like a kitchen table and then a bedroom, then a kitchen table again for another half hour. So it could be really slow burn for a lot of people. It definitely was slow for me as well.
So you call it table horror.
Table horror, yeah. Terror. No, not going to go there. Not falling for that one.
He said the name of the movie in the movie.
Yeah,
it's a movie.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It's one of those ones though that like, movies like this, they really rely on the script being so fucking good and the acting to be as good as it can be when it's just two characters at a table. Otherwise you're going to get pulled out. And I felt like there was some really mesmerizing like conversations that were happening in it, but then there would always be a moment where it would just go a little too far and I'd be like, hey, wait a minute, like that's a little like, but that's just like a personal preference kind of thing, where it all just seemed like I was fully immersed in the movie, and then something would get so they'd ramp up, and almost every time that it ramped up is when I got pulled out. So but I did enjoy it. I definitely recommend checking it out. When you look at the poster, it looks like Mark O'Brien as Hayden Christensen. It is not Hayden Christensen, but it's a go movie.
I want more Hayden Christensen stuff.
Shout out Obi-Wan. Shout out Hayden Christensen.
Shout out Awake.
We talked about Obi-Wan already, didn't we?
You just said you thought it was amazing.
I did. I thought it was amazing, but I've also heard a lot of people say it was like the worst thing ever, and that I have no idea what I'm talking about as a Star Wars fan.
I think that's the entire Star Wars fandom for you.
Yeah. It's really strange to read something like that.
It's without a doubt better than the Book of Boba Fett, but I haven't finished Obi-Wan yet. But I've heard the last two episodes are incredible, and those are the ones I have to do.
They are 10 out of 10 neat.
Awesome. Speaking of 10 out of 10, I want to talk about another movie that's with it. Like some of these movies are like my favorites of the year so far. Like I've just been hitting heavy hitters my batting average has been so amazing that by the end of the movie I finished last night, which was not a horror movie, I'll just get that out of the way quick. Vortex, the new Gaspar Noé film, starring Dario Argento. That is an amazing movie, but Jason, you will dig that one.
Yeah, I really dug Climax.
This is nothing like Climax.
Well,
yeah,
I just like what that guy does with movies. Yeah, though. It's just like
it's you and
I always go in knowing nothing about the movies. I don't watch trailers or read anything, and you know what? I'm usually like, it's like, albeit like I don't like have like the urge to rewatch some of his movies. It's like, I'm usually like, I'm entertained. They're good. I like
exactly. Yeah, he's just got a unique voice and a vision that like you don't see. Like you always know when you're watching a Gaspar Noé film. And yeah, the Vortex is probably one of his best movies in my opinion, but it is like, it's very, very slow, very dry. It's a bummer movie, which is the kind of shit like those are all things that
I love bummer movies. I started watching Drive My Car, and that's been a real slow, sad movie. I've just been enjoying it the entire time.
It's good though. Cool. Because
if you like slow, sad stuff and looking at it like what is it? It's like an old red car that's perfect for you.
Yeah, and Vortex is to like Dario Argento and his wife, so like they're like in their late 70s, and it's the final days of their marriage as one of them has dementia. So it's a real knee slapper. It is very, very dark. But no but so that
caught me off guard.
That one's not very horror. It's just, it's the horror in the way that I say Blue Valentine is horror, which it's not horror at all. It's a horrifying realization that like this is a real thing that happens with people, and it's really sad.
It's a real sad movie, but it ends with yakety sax playing for the credits.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's, everyone leaves happy.
Help pick up your
Yeah.
spirits there.
Exactly.
As you're leaving the theater, you can laugh, you can joke around.
The one that I'm not sure, it's another one that I just don't know if people would consider it horror or not. But regardless, this movie was such a fucking banger. I loved it so much. Paul Verhoeven's Benedetta, the new Paul Verhoeven film. This
Paul
is
Verhoeven, the director of Starship Troopers.
Yes.
That's Paul Verhoeven.
Jason, tell him about the message I sent you.
Well, he was talking about this movie and he let it off with like the director of Hollow Man. He led off with Hollow Man followed by, as if I don't know who like Paul Verhoeven is. It starts with, it's like okay, so you start with Hollow Man, where it's clearly the starting point is Showgirls, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, or Starship Troopers, RoboCop, fucking
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Yeah, he's amazing. Starship. Yeah. But this is Verhoeven in his late 70s as well, directing this movie. This movie is so fucking wild, but it's entirely set in the 17th century around nuns, and it's a lesbian nun film. Or
hell yeah,
a horror movie?
It's
the horror comedy?
No,
buddy cop movie?
No, it's impossible to describe this movie, and that's what makes me love it so much too, is that like it just has this weird energy where it's very, very slow, and then there's bursts of like crusades come in and violence is fucking insane. But then yeah, it's essentially this woman who was brought into this church at a young age, and she's clearly queer, and she takes a liking to one of the new nuns that they bring into the hood, and it gets really erotic. One of my favorite podcasts, the one of the hosts, his name's Pat Walsh, he had my favorite review of the movie ever. He gave it 4.5 stars and said, honestly, it just felt good to get rock hard in a crowded theater again. Because it's very erotic. He took a lot of heat for that one. He's like one of the writers on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's fucking hilarious. But yeah, the movie was just fucking wild, and by the end of it I was like, hey, this is absolutely a horror movie, like by the last 20 minutes, but it's a 2-hour movie. I loved it. Just the style, the acting, the idea, and how provocative it felt, but also like how grimy. I don't know, I loved it. I really, really recommend checking out Benedetta this year if you're into that kind of stuff. It's great.
Casper Van Dien isn't in it?
No Casper Van Dien. So yeah, Benedetta, highly recommend. Jason, do you want to knock off any more? Do you have any more?
Well, more recent one I watched, like, sorry, I'm so bad at keeping track of, but we did watch Fresh.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting watch. Like, it opens up like at it's at like a Chinese restaurant that's like 4 blocks from our house. So it's kind of one of those like neat things you see in a movie. You're like, oh, that's nice, but I don't know. It was like, it's perfectly fine. Like, I enjoyed it. It's a cannibal movie, a bit of a different perspective on it. Like, it's like, yeah, I chop people up. I also eat them, but I sell them to rich people. I was like,
exactly.
It's like,
it's one of the best cannibal Disney movies.
I was gonna say, the fact that it was on Disney Plus, I was one surprised, but because the purity police, but it was good. It's like, I'm not a big Sebastian Stan fan, but like, he's a perfectly fine actor. Like, I don't have anything against him. The cast was fine.
That's because you are a diehard Tommy Lee fan and you didn't like his representation of Tommy Lee.
Dude, no one can play 4/4 like Tommy Lee can. I don't think there's more embarrassing drum solos in the world than if you watch a Tommy Lee solo. Like, when people like dunking on Lars, it's like, Lars doesn't play solos. I think he's like, I know my wheelhouse. It's playing Metallica songs, and Tommy Lee's like, I'm upside down, hardly playing drums.
Buzi, what else have you seen? Do you want to talk about something else?
Yes, I have something big time I want to talk about, and it's another TV series. I'm not finished on it, but I do have to specifically mention how fucking sick this one episode is. So I've been checking out the new season of Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, baby. Are you talking the new season? I've watched 2 of them.
Yeah,
but let's hear it.
So I think you're actually one behind, Mitch, but watch episode 3. It is about a what was it called? Thanopod, which is a giant crab god
Oh,
monster.
damn.
And it is the scariest fucking episode I've seen of this show. It is wild. It's all animated, and yeah, it's about this crab monster that goes onto a boat and demands to be taken places. It's fucking wild.
I need to watch that because I'm not gonna lie, I actually skipped forward because I was told about the finale of season 4, so I watched that one and it's fucking incredible. It's beautiful. But then there was one that Tim Miller did that's like a stop motion zombie one, and that was hilarious as well.
Oh, that one was super
It's like
funny.
Night of the Mini Dead, I think, or something. Yeah, that one was super funny.
yeah.
Okay,
Also,
no,
the first one is very funny too.
oh no, sorry, I was gonna piggyback off what Buzi was talking about. He was talking about crabs, and this is like a weird internet deep dive. But then you guys remember like there's a Newgrounds video called Metal Gear Solid Crab Battle.
Yes. Yes. Oh no, you've unlocked that. Oh man. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like Solid Snake in a cave, and
Yeah.
he counters a crab. It's over the road. He's like, oh, crab battle. It's got my knife.
How to get your knife? Crab battle.
Its claws could pierce a tank.
Anyway, crabs fucking rule. Shout out crustaceans. Yeah, Love, Death, and Robots is just the wildest shit. It is so cool that they get all these different people, and each story is so unique and fun. Like I was kind of saying, like the first episode, and it was the 3 robots from the first season, I believe, and they all get together on planet Earth and just explain how humans died. And it is so fucking funny because it just roasts like how people are now.
So you're saying I could have gone that route, but like what, and this is once again, ADD brain. I was talking about that's how I got on the topic of Vortex. I wasn't even going to review that today. I was meaning to say I watched so many heavy movies back to back that I put on Hotel Transylvania last night to calm my brain. And
how was Hotel Transylvania for you? Did it relax you?
I've seen I ended
zen?
up changing it. What the hell? I think I put on something fucking ridiculously bad, like Runaway Jury. Just so bad.
Why are you talking about shit about Runaway Jury? John Cusack?
Have you seen that movie recently?
Yeah, I saw it last year.
Oh god, it's so fucking ridiculous, but it is like the energy of that movie. Oh god, okay, yeah, fucking stupid. But yeah, okay, I have one last one to talk about. Jason, do you have any more you want to touch on?
I know Jason has one more he wants to talk about that him and Lauren watched together because I told him to.
No, he didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that.
You fucker. You didn't watch it.
I have no interest in watching Christian Bale fight dragons with a tank.
So we're talking about Reign of Fire here.
Yeah. I even sent him like IMDb, like Wikipedia links. I sent him all this stuff. And I guess only Lauren watched it and she didn't even like it.
No, me and Jason went biking that night.
Nobody truly underappreciates. I hope you enjoyed your fucking bike ride.
No. Other than watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm kind of drawing blanks on movies.
Yeah, but that was great. Hey?
10 out of 10. Loved it.
Yeah, that was one, like I watched it, loved it so much. I was like, need to set up a plan for you and Lauren to come over to watch it. We did it again.
Yeah.
It's just such a great, enjoyable movie. One not so enjoyable that Buzi, do you have any left?
Nope.
Okay, I'll close off with this one because once again, not a horror movie, but some could say that it is. A movie I've been really, really looking forward to seeing this year is Ninja Thyberg's Pleasure. Have either of you heard about? Well, I tried getting Jason and Lauren to come to the Rio with me, and I am so happy we did not see it in the theater together.
Yeah, you showed me the trailer for it, and honestly, it did catch my eye.
Man, you have to watch it, but fuck me, what a punishing movie. Yeah, Pleasure is basically it's the classic story of a young person chasing fame and fortune in LA. But it's all about this girl she's from Sweden and she moves to LA to join the porn industry. And it's, directed by Ninja Thyberg, who directed the hell out of this movie. It's exactly what you expect it's going to be when you watch the trailers. Like it's very, art house-ish look into the porn industry, but it's so relentless and so graphic. And it got to a point where I legitimately thought about turning it off. Like I was like, oh man, like I do not think I can handle. Like it was so miserable.
I was gonna say, what's with this year in porn adjacent movies? Like, because there was like X. You're talking about Pleasure. Did you see Red Rocket?
No, that's on my list though. I was actually thinking about watching it tonight Because that's the
It's,
Tangerine dude.
if
Hey?
yeah, I can't remember the director's name, but like I do like his stuff, but it's a very like sleazy movie
Yeah.
when you watch it. Like you're following your main character. I can't remember.
He's the guy from
everyone's
Scary
name.
Movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he
like
plays Eminem in 3.
that's right.
Yeah, that's him. I heard he's great in the movie too.
Yeah, no, like that guy plays a fucking dirtbag super well. It's just kind of like a grimy movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like anyone, if you're like, I don't know, just been around grimy people or like lived kind of like in a small town, like that you might not love the movie, but like you definitely know people like these people in the movie.
Okay,
That's the kind of stuff that really sucks me into movies.
I'm gonna do that one tonight then, because I've just been on a roll of just awesome fucking movies. Like Pleasure was incredible. Did I enjoy it? Not even slightly. It was like, it's one of those movies though that it's not even, it's so good at, obviously I've never been in the porn industry and there's only so much that I know about it.
How is that obvious, Mitch? How is it obvious? We don't know. Thank you for clarifying.
No, but what I mean is like it's one of those things that you'd probably expect, just even given our current climate, that we're going to see like a man abuser or something like that. It's like it's not. It's so much worse than that in some ways, and just the way that it's shot, like it's brutal, like it's relentless. But by the end of it, I was just I was so exhausted. I was like, it sucked the life out of me. So yeah, I definitely recommend it though. I did really like, I think it's a really powerful movie. But
you recommend it though?
Well, I've recommended to people who like that kind of stuff, like the really challenging films that are going to put you in a really uncomfortable place. And what's funny is like, I think that's why I'm dancing around, is there's going to be so many people who are going to be like, that was light. And it's like, okay, well, good for you. Like, it was not for me. Like, because there's some really fucked up shit in it.
I feel like people that have that consensus or say things like that are on sites that have you end up on an NSA watch list or something like that. So
it's crazy thinking about, like, I don't know, just thinking that this is something that a lot of people go through and how it kind of does consume them and it changes their life. And it was just really, really well acted. Tons of just wall-to-wall nudity. Obviously, I think one thing I was curious about is like, how are they going to make like a theatrically released film that's about porn? It's like, man, they found the line and they just kept like toddling over it. Like, it was just like the way it was all cut together, you're just watching porn. It's really fucked up at times, but it's really well put together.
Do you think it gives Nymphomaniac a run for its money?
I haven't seen Nymphomaniac. I've
only seen the first half of it, because it is technically a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, because isn't it 2 parts?
Yeah.
4 hours of cum.
There's a lot of common pleasure.
Kids' seats are just still $10. You buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
This Sunday, you're gonna come.
Sunday. Brought to you by Lars von Trier
Shia LaBeouf,
and
buff.
And the Tacoma Dome.
I like a lot of Von Trier's movies too, so I should actually get around to watching those ones. But yeah, that's everything I have to talk about. Let's move on to our main feature. You guys ready?
Main feature.
So yeah, we'll be back right after this tune. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome to our main feature presentation, where we're going to be doing a triple feature of the Neon Demon, Deerskin, and the Fanatic. All right, so we're going to kick things off with Buzi's pick, because we're going to go in chronological order. And the first one that was released out of the 3 that we picked today is the Neon Demon from 2016. Buzi, take it away.
All right, I'm gonna hit you guys with the synopsis of Neon Demon right now. So
hit me with your synopsis. Fire away.
All right. Jessie moves to Los Angeles just after her 16th birthday to launch a career as a model. The head of her agency tells the innocent teen that she has the qualities to become a top star. Jessie soon faces the wrath of ruthless vixens who despise her fresh-faced beauty. On top of that, she must contend with a seedy motel manager and a creepy photographer. As Jessie starts to take the fashion world by storm, her personality changes in ways that could help her against her cutthroat rivalries. And this is directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who we've already talked about quite a bit in this episode.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about people being so far up their own asses, which is true. But yeah, like we'll get to it. We got lots to talk about with the Neon Demon.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wefren is like an MC Escher painting of being up one's own ass.
Yeah, what I came to conclusion was, and I think I sent that to you, Jason. I was watching for some reason I was watching the special features of Only God Forgives, and it made me realize that Nicholas Winding Refn looks like a Bob's Burgers character. He does. He looks like he's from Bob's Burgers. He's got no chin. But yeah, obviously the man has done masterpieces like Drive and Valhalla Rising, Hannibal. No, that wasn't him. The Pusher movies, Only God Forgives,
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but so yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn did this one, starring Elle Fanning, Christina Hendricks, Keanu Reeves, Jenna Malone, Bella Heathcote, Abby Lee, just tons of talent front to back. The film,
I totally had forgotten Keanu Reeves was in this the second time watching it.
Oh yeah,
you know, his introduction is in this movie. I was telling this to Lauren last night. Is like when he bursts through that door. It's like them saying like we can afford Keanu Reeves, like the way he enters the movie. He's like,
they like
it's what I'm here.
They push him in with like a gun behind him.
Well, he does the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah. So Buzi, why did you choose the Neon Demon? Because this whole list came about through Jason choosing Deerskin, and by Jason choosing Deerskin, I mean I told him we should do an episode on it after he showed it to me, and we're like, what could this fit into? And we came up with vanity and obsession, which is something that touches base on all of these films. But why the Neon Demon for you?
You know, I was in the most boozy way of all time. I was originally just going to pick Starry Eyes because I was like, that's something I really like. And I hope that if we do an episode on something that one more person will check it out. But I decided that because right around the same time and dealing with a lot of the same subject matter is I'd watched Neon Demon around the exact same time I'd watched Starry Eyes. And this was many years ago on the podcast. So I thought, hey, you know what? I think there probably is something more here to Neon Demon that I just didn't pick up the first time because it is visually stunning. It just kind of lost me in the story in the first time. So I thought I'd check it out again. And I'm pleasantly surprised that I rewatched this.
Nice. So yeah, you just wanted to give it another look, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, like when Jason and I, even when we were talking about other movies that could fit in this, we even both mentioned the Neon Demon. I think it would be a good pick for this. So I was happy that you chose it. Jason, what are your thoughts on the Neon Demon?
Is this a first watch for you?
No, actually, all of these movies. Oh, I've watched all of the triple features 3 times now.
You've seen the FANATIC 3 times?
Yeah, I've seen the FANATIC 3 times.
Damn, I've only seen it twice.
This is my 3rd time rewatching the Neon Demon, and this movie is like, it's like going into an open house for a place you could never afford. You kind of just like you're there to look at the walls and the furniture. And the way it opens up, it's like, I think Mitch, you were telling me it was like his inspiration was like a perfume or fashion commercial or like a clothing commercial. It's like, and when it opens up, it's like, even like the titles are so glamorous. It's like Chanel and, like Louis Vuitton, or like the production company names. And I'm just like, the more I kind of know about it, the more I kind of like appreciate like him bringing that aesthetic to a movie like this. Like to jump like really far into the movie, there's actually a quote, and I think this is like where this and Deerskin kind of even like the FANATIC in some ways, they get a little meta.
Yeah.
And there's that interaction between like Elle's boyfriend or Jesse's boyfriend and the big fashion designer, and he's like, oh, it's like yeah, beauty isn't everything. He's like, beauty is the only thing. And like you could describe all of Refn's movies like that. You're like, and it feels like he's like addressing his critics. It's like, why would I make an ugly movie? So I don't know. I like kind of thought that. I'm like, fuck, it's like, it feels a bit like if it's intentional, it feels like an intentional wink at the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, I don't know, I can appreciate like this movie is like, it's a very pretentious movie and it knows exactly what it is. And I think it actually kind of plays to its strengths.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love this movie. I was I was so like I'm a huge fan of art house films, and you know I've talked about on multiple episodes in a row now that like I tend to enjoy the really pretentious stuff. Like I like pretty things and style being the substance of films. I think this movie actually has a lot more to say than it gets credit for with a lot of people, though. And it is fairly on the nose in a lot of ways, but it does get creative in some really unique ways that make it stand apart from the other movies that tackle the same similar subject matter. But yeah, like I was super late to the party for this one. I didn't see the Neon Demon until quarantine because I was just tired of reffing shit. Like I watched that documentary on him and I was like, I just fuck this guy. Like I loved it. Like obviously I love Drive. Like that's my favorite film of his. And I know
that's our favorite Gosling personality. The co-op.
Lars and the Real Girl.
Well, I mean, until Barbie comes out,
Murder by Numbers.
Then we'll co-op that personality.
I can't wait for Barbie's gonna be awesome.
Barbie's gonna be insane, bro.
Yeah,
opening night.
We're gonna go with Suits.
I've been enjoying all the macho memes about me and the boys gonna go see Barbie, and it's like, you know, Hulk Hogan and like Skeletor.
How many people do you think saw Minions: Rise of Gru that would never have seen it if it wasn't for the memes?
Meme.
Yeah, like the memes helped that movie huge. But yeah.
Oh, you think memes help that movie? Wait till they actually do that Shrek movie and just the whole like CO2 emissions are gonna skyrocket. Wall-to-wall gridlock lines, just trying to get to the theater for weeks to see Shrek.
I wanted to join in on the like dressing up to see Minions thing, but I found out that it's like only for teenagers. I was like, oh, that's funny, I want to join in, but like I can't be like the, you know, the weird old guy, and like Derek won't go with me.
That's surprising.
I feel like
Derek went.
I feel like that's how you end up on an episode of
exactly
by being an adult and dressing up for the Minions.
I'd be that weird
going alone,
weird guy they do the interview with, where it'd be like, it's not just teens getting into it, and then it would just be me and this fucking old man
with the sunglasses, fucking walking into Minions. But yeah,
I'm here to see Gru rise.
The Neon Minion. Great film. I think this is like hands down his second best movie. It was such a nice surprise for me when I saw it, because I think like when it initially came out, I just wasn't in the mood for. You were like, not now, babe, not now. Yeah, well, I knew what the movie was going to be, and it turned out to be exactly that, but just really like, it's just really, really well made and really well acted, and I love the allegory that goes along with all of it. I love all the like symbolism that they put in, like surrounding like pagan rituals and stuff like that. Like, I love how it's a witch. I think movie. That's
some of the best part. Yeah, it is. It's the neon witch, really.
It's so cool that, like, you know, they never say the word once, but it is absolutely a witch film. And obviously I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and I thought it was just awesome. And watching it, like, it's one of those ones that every time you watch it, you get a little more out of it, and I definitely did this time around as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel if you like a movie like this, it definitely helps rewatching it too, especially like, you know, the ins and outs of it. You kind of notice like one thing I noticed, like Jesse's character right off the hop, Elle Fanning's character, is she is pretty unlikable right from the start, and like there is a turning point, and it's very much on the screen, like, you know, the turning from blue to red.
She had her Tobey like Maguire Venom moment.
Yeah, but like she is always like I don't know, like referring himself like up her ass at the beginning of the movie, except she's slightly more timid about it because she, you know, she's not on top of the world, but she very much is aware of like, I'm better looking at all these people. That's the one issue I have with the movie is like,
she's not.
I'm way more attracted to Jenna Malone in this movie than I am Elle Fanning. I'm just like,
so that's the movie's problem.
Yeah, that's the movie's problem. That movie, like, it docked 4 stars because of it. I think Elle Fanning.
You seem like a Jenna Malone guy.
Elle Fanning kind of looks like E.T. when her hair's pulled back. Not to sound like an asshole, but I was looking at him like, just waiting for her to phone up.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, like
E.T. have dead parents.
Oh no, like they're all beautiful. Like, it's obviously it's a movie just about beauty and the price of it and the effects, like the dangers of narcissism in a lot of ways. And I think that even Refn could probably admit maybe that he's a narcissist, because it just seems like he's not trying to hide it at all. which isn't necessary. It's not always like a negative to say that, you know, like he did whatever he could to turn the world against him after the success of Drive. Like that was my favorite, is like he made Drive and was pissed because he didn't make it to be like a cultural phenomenon and like have all these bros loving Drive, and like everyone's now obsessed with Ryan Gosling. So that's why he made Only God Forgives with like a half an hour fucking karaoke scene in the middle of the movie. Like that movie is just so fucking weird. So I was expecting him to just keep being like sloppier and sloppier, because that's how I still like Only God Forgives, but it feels sloppy to me. The Neon Demon feels like everything was so well thought out and articulated throughout. Like I love it.
This movie is a 2-hour staring contest.
Yep.
And I love it.
That's most
if you watch his movies, it's just people staring at each other.
It's also like makes me feel really uncomfortable the whole time, because I like what you're saying with everyone staring at each other is I hate awkward silences. It's like, somebody say something, stop looking at each other like this.
Oh, and that's where the cinema comes out.
Yeah. It's also, it talks about you know, there's, I think out of the 3 movies, this one has the most to say about beauty standards.
Wow, I would hope so.
Well, no, because it kind of goes into like you're literally watching people get churned out like a meat grinder, which is what what every industry that deals with people's faces is about. But just watching these people who are like conventionally the most beautiful people you'll ever see, and they're just getting tossed aside because they're too old, but they're like 24. You know, and it's like, well, yeah, they're getting beat up by a 16-year-old who's lying about her age. But you know, just seeing that stuff like that, and then just like every situation she's in, she doesn't have any control of it. Like even when she has the photo shoot with the photographer one-on-one, and he like golds her all up, she doesn't like, it's not that she doesn't say no, it's that she doesn't want to say no because it'll further her career if she does. You know,
and she knows that he's Quinn from Dexter.
I don't know who Quinn from Dexter is, but
I totally I agree. I think you're definitely on the right track for what the film is trying to say. But you look at any frame in this movie, and it does kind of feel like those 90s hairspray commercials and stuff like that. Like when Jason was talking earlier about all the aesthetics at the beginning, my mom was a hairdresser growing up, so like I could just smell the hairspray, and it all feels like it was ripped right from that era.
Well, it even has like Nick Refn has a logo that is just like stamped in the center of the frame too, underneath of it. Like he's like, this is a brand.
Yeah.
He's really letting you know, I think, like right off the bat, like what you're getting. It's like, if you know anything about him, you're like, oh yeah, like he's finally ascended to full pretentious dude.
Yes. And I love pretentious.
You know, God bless him for it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some people that just really walk that line very well. And he's a guy that does it.
Hey, Jason,
I've been really meaning to watch his series, Too Old to Die Young.
I've heard it's great.
I've heard it's great, but the first 3 episodes are very punishingly slow. And like the consensus, like I've read online, is like skip the first 3, just start at 4 and go for it. Yeah, they're like 90 minutes each, and they're not easy watches. They're slow and not much happens.
Yeah,
but hey, I could be wrong.
I have a question for you guys.
Sarah,
do you think Elle Fanning's blood tastes good? Because a lot of people are drinking it.
I think it tastes like penny.
Chicken cherry cola, maybe?
Pennies. You're just sucked on a penny?
Well, that's what blood's supposed to taste like, pennies.
Huh. You know, that's like a dated reference now, because like no one will know what pennies are anymore.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Shit. What does
like,
blood taste like now?
These pennies taste like blood.
Penny, you mean from like the Big Bang Theory? Bazinga?
Bazoinger?
Bazinga?
All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about in regards to the Neon Demon? Like we're not the video or audio essay podcast that, you know, digs super fucking far deep, and I think especially when we choose 3.
I believe the Schadenfreude of the Neon Demon.
Schadenfreude.
Just you wait till we get to the fanatic, then we'll get into the real philosophy. But okay,
I'm glad I watched this again. It sounds like you guys really enjoyed it, since we all watched it for the countless time. But
it's my second favorite of the 3.
Honestly, like that Cliff Martinez score, like all the music Cliff does for like his movies, it's like just take it in as like, I don't know, you're just like listening to a great album with some pretty pictures. And
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Jason's pick, which I I took absolutely zero notes for this one. So I'm just gonna get you to just start introing this one. Well, we're talking about Deerskin.
See,
Deerskin. Deerskin. Oh god, I cannot pronounce this director's name, but
Quentin Dupuis.
I think it's Quentin Dupuis. Write me an angry letter if that is wrong. But so this is Quentin Dupuis' 2019 film, and it follows around George, a man who becomes after leaving his wife or splitting from his wife, spends his entire life savings on a deerskin jacket, which causes him to turn to a life of crime. Sort of, but yeah, it's one of those movies when you describe to people like, hey, what's it about? You're like, it's kind of about this, sort of. It's about a guy who spends literally all of his money on like 7,500 euros on a jacket.
Yeah. And unfortunately, since we're going all spoilers here, because like that's the only way you can really talk about these films. But this is one of those movies that would benefit so much from going in the way that I did, where all I knew about it was one night when we were drunk, Jason told me it was his favorite movie. I know you've said that it's not like your favorite movie, but that was the one that came to mind to you that at that time.
It was by far the favorite movie I saw at VIF in 2019. Like when I saw this movie in theaters, this movie, like I've seen it 3 times now. This movie is very fun to watch for the first time or show it to somebody for the first time, because if you know nothing about it, like this director just makes movies that are they're a bit unpredictable, but not in a way that feels just like, you know, it's not like it's M. Night Shyamalan twist. It's like you don't know where it's going, or it'll just do things you didn't expect it would, or do things that are so stupid you're like, why would anyone film this? But I love it.
Yeah. And so speaking of which, though, like let's talk about his other movies. So I think he first picked up notoriety for making Rubber.
Yeah, that's the one that really, like, people are like, hey, have you seen the Tire movie? And that's one that like a lot of people shit on, like, especially like I'll see like someone will talk about it on Reddit once in a while, and the comments are like, oh, I fucking hate this movie. And you're like,
I think people think that he's being like serious, and you couldn't be further from the truth with that. Like he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing with Rubber.
Yeah, there's not too many interviews with him, but like one thing I really like gravitate towards is like him as a filmmaker. He's like, I just like I'll think of something that makes me laugh, and then I'll just make a movie of it. And his movies are all like 70 minutes, and they're just like, they don't drag out. They're just short and sweet, and that's why I love them.
Yeah. So yeah, and the film stars an Academy Award nominee, correct? Or did he win?
No, Academy Award winner. The Jean Duchenet, who starred in The Artist. I can't remember when he won the
2011. He went
2011. 2011 he won,
or I guess it'd be 2012 because the film came out in 2011. So the year 2012 he took home the Academy Award for Best Actor, and that's our star of this movie about a deerskin jacket. But it really is about so much more. So like I guess I'll just hop in here because obviously Jason likes this movie. I just want to say, like, I fucking love this movie. Like, this is my favorite discovery of the year so far, and it was one where I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, because like I remember I had seen Rubber a long time ago, but I can't remember anything about it like at all, to the point where I'd almost say that I haven't seen it. Like it was one of those movies that we put on with like a group of friends and we're like, oh, it's a silly B movie, but really it isn't even that. But Deerskin, it just hooked me because of how it gets progressively more and more weird and insane. Like specifically it gets to a point where he's killing people to take their jackets off because he wants to be the only person in the world to have a jacket. When he's pulling, like, he's killing people, and before they're even dead, he's ripping their jackets off and he's like already walking away. It's like this man wants one thing and one thing only, and that's to be the only person in the world with a jacket.
Yeah. So the audience, I feel like if you want to watch this movie, stop listening right now and come back, because it's like this is a very fun movie to watch, just like knowing nothing about. But for those who don't give a shit, this guy starts going crazy in this like hotel room where he's like not paying. He's not paying to stay there. He like rips a wedding ring off of a dead guy's finger to, like, you know, have consignment to stay in this hotel. And he starts talking to this jacket, and this jacket starts talking back to him. It's like, I have a dream. He's like, what's your dream? He's like, I want to be the only jacket in the world. And earlier in the movie, we didn't talk about this, but when he buys the jacket, this old weirdo gives him like a camcorder, like a DV cam. He just like throws it in. He's like, you spent a lot of money, so here you go. And he's like going around the town, like telling people he's like a director.
Oh, yeah, he's a filmmaker.
He's working with producers from Siberia. He's making a movie in this like small rural French town. And so he starts duping people into giving them their jackets, and then he just drives away with them so he can.
and he also makes them agree to never wear jackets.
Or a jacket.
He's gonna blackmail them and say that as an unfilm.
Buzi, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Yeah. Did you like this?
I think it was very slow at the start, but I think it's like once you get in on the joke and once it really starts going, like, this is totally fun. Like, I didn't even mention, like, he was killing people with fan blades. He ripped off the ceiling fan.
Oh, right.
He like sharpened them.
Dude, yeah, the shot of him driving down the street sharpening the fan blade. It's like so fucking valiant.
It's just, it kept getting weirder and weirder, but I liked that it was straightforward enough while being weird to make it funny. I think a lot of times movies that are goofy just stay like too goofy the whole time. This is like they're trying to have characters like have deep conversations and try and figure each other out, like with the lady at the saloon or whatever, and just trying to get to know him. And then it's just like he's getting progressively wilder and wilder about the jacket. I like when
are you talking about when he goes, are you talking about my jacket?
I like when he goes on the date and he's like insists that this lady take the jacket off.
Oh yeah.
Jason, this is literally your favorite movie?
Oh, well, definitely my favorite movie that came out this year. So to recap to your audience, it's about a man who spends all his money on a jacket,
a deerskin jacket,
who wants to take jackets from other people. So he starts killing them with a ceiling fan.
A sharp ceiling fan blade, not the whole.
And this all progresses in a nice little curve that is somewhat believable.
It is, and like that's the slow escalation of this movie is like what makes it so brilliant as well, though, is because it just starts off with him just like loving the way he looks in this jacket.
It's fairly mundane. It's just him liking the jacket
and him just being kind of a weirdo at the bar, being like, "Are you guys talking? I know what you're talking about. You're talking about my jacket." What?
And then it just escalates in him to murdering like 30 people at a night with a ceiling fan. And then he makes a massive grave outside of town for the jackets, not the people. He leaves the body and strips them.
Oh yeah, he pays the guy, like he pays this backhoe operator, and he's like, "Don't ask why I'm doing this."
Oh my god, I love it so much. Like I was fucking crying. Like this was a movie that I think we were like 3/4 of the way through, and I looked over at Jason. I said, "Thank you for this," because I fucking love this movie. It is.
Well, then another thing to say about this movie too. This is why I love this director too. The guy's a madman. Like he's like I don't throw away the term auteur too much because I think it makes you sound like a total ass. But it's like he's like, oh, I'm the cinematographer, director, writer, producer, editor. I score the movies. It's like, hey man, how many hats can you fit on your head?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
no kidding.
Make us all like. And the fact that he's making these movies that I just fucking love. It's
your brains just connect.
Oh yeah, it makes total sense that like you love his movies as much as you do. How was his new one? Like, what's that one called again? Because you watched that one as well.
Well, he's got one right now. Well, he's got 3 new movies he's made since this one, 3 or 4.
This guy's just churning movies out.
He turns out like 2 a year. It's wild. If we watched Mandibles, where it's about like 2 bozos, like I'd call them like essentially I'd call it almost like 2 Pauly Shores, and they find a giant fly, like a dog-sized fly, and they're like, "How can we make money off this?" They're like, "We'll trade it to get us stuff."
Oh my god!
So the movie's about.
That's the movie. And it's like the fly is like it's like a giant puppet too. So it's like surprisingly very cute looking. It's essentially about 2 cavemen because that's how dumb these guys are.
Yeah,
trying to train a fly to go get them like food.
So you did enjoy it though?
I did. It was like I wish it was a little weirder than his like some of his previous movies, but like honestly, it was like you watched it. I was like, I'm glad I watched it. It was fun.
Yeah.
He's got one that's in the festival circuit right now, and I hope we get it here, called Smoking Causes Coughing. and essentially is about the Power Rangers being anti-smoking advocates.
I love this man. Love this man.
So like there's very little info about it online. I don't even think there's a trailer, but like just like the poster, it's like all bunch of people in like spandex uniforms like posing. I'm like, yeah, I'm sold.
Fuck, that's hilarious. Jesus. Yeah, no, this is a movie, and like it's got quotes for days too, but killer style is like, yeah, I've thought about it almost every single day that I look at myself in the mirror, or if I ever like you know, you Jason, you've seen me when it gets really hot out here. I got my long Air Jordan shorts and my sleeveless Metallica shirt, and I just look myself in the mirror and I can't help but say killer style. Killer style.
You can't help but look in the mirror and say, "You talking to me?"
You talking to me?
I think the quote from this movie we do a lot in our house is, "George, I have a dream."
That was my favorite. Like anytime it would be him just like getting ready for bed, and the fucking jacket on the chair would just have something to tell him about.
Yeah, there's one thing I wish it had a little bit more of. It's just like another scene of him talking to the jacket, because it's just it's so it's so ridiculous.
Or let's have a scene of him fighting with the jacket.
Because I remember when this movie came out, Mitch, I was telling you, I'm like, hey, I saw this. Like, if you could find it, like, watch it like as soon as you can. And you're like, oh, is it gonna be like In Fabric, which I watched later, which is that A24 movie, also about a talking piece of clothing.
This is so much better.
This is like,
well, it's just more my speed.
It's I was gonna say, it was like, if they didn't both come out around the same time, I would say like, Quentin Dupieux watched that movie. He was like, no, I'll make that, but fun.
Yeah, I'll make it. Yeah. Because like, yeah, In Fabric's not a bad movie. It's just not really my thing. So I was like, it just sound, you know, it's so fresh. And I even contemplated making it a triple feature with In Fabric. And then I know Shudder has a movie called Slacks that are about a pair of killer slacks. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one yet, but I just can't.
I feel like this is a group Halloween costume. Is like someone does the all deerskin, someone does the dress, and someone just wears pants.
Oh yeah, and like I told Jason too, like I immediately, like the next day I was looking online for like a deerskin jacket that looked kind of similar to this, because I wanted to buy it for Jason, but like deerskin jackets are expensive.
Well, yeah, the guy traded his whole savings for it.
Exactly, and he fucking killed a village to get to just be the only one.
That's kind of the minor consequence of that.
On the way this movie ends too is just like,
who shoots him, by the way?
It's the dad of the kid he throws the rock at.
Oh right, like he didn't even kill the kid.
Yeah, okay, so there's a scene where a couple scenes where this kid's staring at him, so he just like whips a rock at him, and he's like fuck off. And then the movie is just like going along, and you're like how could this possibly end? And that kid tells his dad, and that dad pulls out a rifle and just shoots the hero in the face. And the movie ends.
He's frolicking with this like ending. He's like, take this video of me in this jacket. So this lady is videotaping him. He's frolicking, enjoying himself. And he just gets fucking shot out of nowhere.
And I just like how the woman doesn't bat an eye, and she just picks up the jacket, and then she kind of like wears it. She's like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, the stories.
It's the power of the jacket.
You're like, oh, now is the jacket actually taking hold of people?
Yeah, we need deerskin too.
I was gonna say this is sequel territory.
Deer skinnier.
Yeah. Or it could be like Dear John, like deer, skin.
Rise of Gru, something like
Rise
that.
Of Gru.
Deer the skin too.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, like upon like one last thing, just I remember seeing this in theaters too, and the way this movie opens up too, with him just flushing his jacket down the toilet at the gas station, but it just overflows the whole thing. Like, that's where I was in hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, this is just so
I forgot about how fucking weird that was. I thought he was like trying to flush evidence or something. I forgot that was his jacket.
Yeah.
And then it just makes so much more sense by the end of the movie.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, I love Deerskin. Definitely recommend everyone checking this one. It sounds like all across the table we all agree on both of the movies so far. Let's see if we agree on the next one, which is my pick, The Fanatic, starring Devon Sawa and John Travolta. The film is about, I don't know why I chose this one, because we're venturing into some dangerous territory here. But a rabid film fan stalks his favorite action hero and destroys the star's life. So the star is Hunter Dunbar, played by Devon Sawa. Even Hunter Dunbar just sounds like such a stupid name. It's like, what would you do for a Dunbar? And then John Travolta plays Moose, who is
Moose.
He's mentally challenged. I don't know with what, but
Yeah, it's so unspecific.
yeah, he has tics that they cover, and I feel like I know he had a mentally challenged son as well, but I know it just feels like he just studied like Forrest Gump, Rain Man,
Yep.
I Am Sam, like all these movies that are just displaying things that an actor should never do. You have to have the most giant fucking ego to think that you can pull something like this off and not have it be a flaming pile of like, it's just offensive. But the true thing that drew me to this movie, and the reason I want to talk about it today, is because it is written and directed by Fred Durst, the Durst man himself.
And it's based on an experience he had as well. Like there's
Buzi, if you know that, you know more about it than I do.
no,
'cause
I
don't even...
googled. Yeah, like there's something about like he wrote this based on an experience he had with an obsessed fan. Obviously this is a more dramatized version of that, but the Rollers, what the Bisque heads,
I don't know, we just
Biscuits. Limp
the
Bisque.
limps.
I feel like we need to open up a soup shop called Limp Bisque.
Also, you didn't mention it when talking about the cast. Actually, Anna Golja, who plays like the photographer friend,
fucking narrator.
Yeah, her photographer friend is from Degrassi. I was really excited to see her, and I thought she did a great job.
Did you enjoy her narration?
I did. I thought that she did a great job of explaining to all us stupid people what was going on the entire time.
This just goes to show that Buzi, this is like once again proof that Buzi will give anything a pass if it has any remote tie to Degrassi.
I thought she did good with what she had to do in this film.
Her purpose in this film is dumber than the movie itself.
That's true. But she got paid.
Like, it's not her fault. Yeah, it's not like the movie, like the movie not being great is not her fault. But
I don't think the narration really.
There's no point for the narration. The movie opens up with a quote from the main character. Like there's all the in between sketches. They do like children's sketches of things that just make it feel like an art house movie.
They do like sketches for like corn music videos. That's kind of what it looked like.
So the reason I chose this movie is because I wanted to make Buzi watch it. That's literally the only reason.
So all this for me, hey?
Yeah, I already know. Yeah, all this for you.
Wow. Yeah.
It's all for you, Buzi. It's all for you. Buzi, what did you think of The Fanatic? Just tell us everything.
It was wildly offensive. First off, I'll have to say, I actually do think that some of it is like, it's fairly competently done. It's just what it's trying to tell is so absurd. I think like Devin Sawa does an excellent job of being a dickhead who's just trying to protect his own, like his like it makes sense why his character acts the way he does. But yeah, John Travolta's like, holy shit, it is wild that they did this. Like,
this is the man from Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking
also
too.
This dude's fucking, like, I just looked it up. I think he's like 63. Like, this dude's nearly 70 doing wild shit like this, which he looks good for his age, by the way. I will
especially with that haircut.
But that
I
whole
was gonna say Scientology
is he a Scientologist?
He is,
baby.
And apparently they're giving all their favors to Tom Cruise and not John Travolta.
Yeah, well,
I mean, yeah, what would you rather do? Fucking Top Gun or the Fanatic?
And he's always like, he wears his coolest horror shirt. There's only one of them in the world. That's my
Mitch, I can't talk long. I have to poo.
Yeah, they're the very first written piece of dialogue for one of the characters that isn't the narrator is, I can't stay long, I have to poo.
There is so many weird lines in this movie. I actually thought it was kind of cool.
Jack the Ripper. Yeah. Jack the Ripper.
It was kind of cool, like, and funny that they did the whole, like, what would you even call it? Where he's like tied up in bed. Oh, what, like, not, is it frailty? Like, they kind of do like a frailty moment almost.
That's like The Exorcist. He's got him tied up in bed and he walks out with a Jason mask and like, oh my god. No, there's so much. Yeah, see, we're going all over the place here, but I just needed to get that out of the way.
Thank you.
I want to touch base with Jason, and then if it's so far it sounds like we're on the exact same page though. This is certainly not a bad movie.
That's what I think. It's to its detriment though. It's
yes,
because when you say this movie, like when you say it out loud, you're like, Fred Durst directed a movie where John Travolta plays someone with severe autism that stalks and ties up Devon Sawa to get his autograph. You're like, wow, this is like The Room 2.0 in the making, but like you're like, this is just on course to be bad. And it's not good, but the thing is, it's made well enough.
It's made so well. It's just what it's made of is the issue.
I wouldn't even say it's like the best movie ever made, but like when you watch it, you're like, this is not poorly made.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a bad script that is taken way too seriously. And I want to like it. And I want to be entertained by it more. I wish it was like the best moment I can describe to like what I wish this movie was Devon Sawa was driving through the neighborhood and then Limp Bizkit comes on the radio and he just cranks it.
You want to hear some of that Limp Bizkit?
You want to hear what I grew up on?
I want to hear that Bizkit?
Oh, that's nice.
Which song did you play, Mitch? Which song was that?
Don't even. That's from Gold Cobra.
I think it was off like, I was going to say Gold Cobra.
Are you sure?
I was like, I want it.
Yeah, it was a Gold Cobra song.
And I just wanted more of that shit. I'm like, I want more of that garbage. I want this movie to be garbage, but it's not. It very lives up to the opening logo of Redbox.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this movie was made by Redbox. It's made fine. It's not good. It's not awful, but it's just, upon rewatching it a couple of times, it's like, it's kind of boring, but I do like that it exists. It's like, it's kind of funny.
It's too long to its own detriment, I think.
Yeah. Although I did love the scene where Devon Sawa finger blasts John Travolta. Though.
So much more graphic than I was expecting.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what? Wait, what?
Wait, Devon Sawa finger blasts John Travolta? He gets off the bed, he shoots his fingers off.
No, he doesn't literally finger blast him.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. I actually was like, wait a second.
That's the
I
director's
didn't see
cut.
that scene.
Moose is in the house. And like,
I fooled Hunter Dunbar.
There's like, it's got like little moments in it where I'm like, this is really funny. Like when he kisses Devon Sawa goodnight, I'm like, that is so funny. And then when he wakes up, like he falls asleep in this guy's house where he's like literally stalking, and he's like, oh, and it has to leave. I'm like, okay, I'm very entertained by it.
It would cost $0 and zero effort to just not do this. Like that's like the way I feel about it is like, they could have just made John Travolta just a manic crazy fan, and then it would be like all the other movies that do that. Like obviously I'm a fan of Tony Scott's movie The Fan, which is not a great movie either, but it's like Robert De Niro is an obsessed fan of Wesley Snipes, who's a baseball player, and it goes too far and it gets out of hand. But the thing is, by making Travolta this character and then have everything else be copacetic, it just makes it kind of forgettable.
It's so weird, and you gotta wonder, like, was that Fred Durst's idea or was that John Travolta's idea? He's like, I had a son with autism, so I can do this role.
Yeah, I'm
qualified to play this role.
I know a guy. I'm allowed to say it.
What's even bizarre though too is like, you're like, oh, Fred Durst made a movie, and then you go to his IMDb and you're like, oh, this isn't him. He's made 3 movies, one with Ice Cube and one with Jesse Eisenberg, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then he's like directed a bunch of music videos.
Oh, so that's what Jesse Eisenberg's been doing.
I think this was like from like 10 plus years ago. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't looked at Fred Durst's IMDb in a while.
He definitely keeps that on.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. But I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen his other films. I need to, because here's the thing. Couple facts. Fred Durst did a well enough job directing the movie. Movie's well directed.
Yep.
The movie looks competent.
Yep.
Travolta, despite however you may feel about this character, he does a good job. Like, I think
he
he's
stays
actually
in
good at,
character.
well, I think he's good in the movie. It just is something that I would have been perfectly fine with never seeing in my entire life. Like, it didn't need to happen. John Travolta is a good actor. He's done a lot of really bad things, but he's a good actor and he's good in this movie. But none of it. So I was looking up online a little bit today because I was wondering, like, I knew the general consensus was everyone thought this movie is a piece of shit, rightfully so, just because it just doesn't work. Because it is technically well made, but the story is not good and it's just seems undercooked. But one thing I was curious about is I'm rooting for Moose from beginning to end. Apparently other people don't feel that way. Apparently people felt that he was unhinged, and I'm like, yeah, but he's challenged. Like, it's like if fucking Sawa would have just treated him like a human being at the very beginning, would it have been okay? Like, would he have gone to the lengths that he did? Or now even better, if he would have treated him like properly, and then that would have been what made Travolta want to get more, or Moose get more and more attached to him. So it makes the story all of a sudden make sense. But instead, he's just chasing around a guy who hates him the whole movie.
Yeah.
No, I definitely understand your viewpoint. That's probably for like all the people that like were stoked that Simon Birch died at the end of that movie. They're like, yeah, you fuck that guy. How dare he be, have a handicap or what have you? It's like, yeah, but no, like you're definitely Devon Sawa. Like you definitely like
he's a dick from the beginning.
Yeah, he's well, like Travolta's being a bit much, but it's like at the same time you're like, this guy is clearly he's different. Like he requires a little bit more patience.
Sawa's like a washed up action sci-fi star.
He's not even washed up in this, man. He's not washed up at all. Look at his plays. Like he's washed up in. I'm not going to say it.
No, but even the way that but like how they portray him in the thing is that like he did all these kind of like B level horror and sci-fi stuff. Because even they're talking about, it's funny enough, this is the second movie we're dealing with about an expensive jacket. But just, like the whole thing about like how it's this jacket from the specific movie, and it's not like it's like the fucking boat from Jaws or something. It's just like this really niche thing. So maybe not that he's washed up, but he's not like this like super grade A actor, because he's like, it's like, how did you find me?
Yeah, I'm starting to think you don't know a thing about horror pictures. That's a line from like all the lines of this. Like I love, like I actually want to use that now. Like there, it's funny because I found like a Hawaiian shirt that has a bunch of horror characters on it, and of course I'm gonna buy it because I'm a fucking dork. But I know, when people are going to comment on it, I'm like, thanks, it's the only one in the world. There's so many of those moments that like just so much of it just doesn't work though. Like it just, if it, with just a little extra thought, or maybe another writer in the room or someone to bounce ideas off of, like to me it just seems so silly that they lead off with Devon Sawa being an asshole. It's like the movie just would have made sense if he would have been nice to him, and then he just starts being like, oh, now we're friends and I can go visit him at his house, and he goes, okay man, you can't do that. But instead, every time Devon Sawa sees him, he's like, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking head.
Do you think that dressing up as an old British person on the side of the street,
Jack the Ripper, do you think that's a really good thing, John?
I'm not actually
England. British. That was
go to the wax museum.
Okay, like all that stuff is extra storyline that just like same with showing Moose as a young Moose in his mom getting plowed by some random dude, I'm assuming. It's like all this shit I did not need, or the becoming a pickpocket and not wanting to be.
So I did watch the Red Letter Media review of.
I didn't know they did.
Oh yeah, they did this.
Hell
and, like,
yeah.
I actually haven't. I think that might be like the third Red Letter Media video I've watched front to back.
Oh dude, Red Letter Media is my favorite.
Yeah, they're funny, but like they show like front to back, like those scenes, like that's directly from The Cable Guy. It's the same scene, like the flashback of like Moose watching Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
it's the same as in The Cable
Guy.
Oh yeah, it's
another movie I haven't seen.
Oh my god, The Cable Man, I love The Cable Guy. That movie is a fucking masterpiece. It's so dark.
Yeah, actually, I feel like The Cable Guy, like people just maybe they marketed that movie
They
wrong. Like, when it
absolutely
came
did.
out. But like, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey is a fucking nutcase in that movie.
It's like
And
Cape Fear.
Matthew Broderick doesn't kill anybody with his car, so you know it's all good.
Yeah, man, honestly, yeah, Cable Guy is one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies, but it's like it was written by Ben Stiller, which makes sense because he's a brilliant writer. Man,
He's written a bunch of good movies.
Tropic Thunder. He's amazing. But yeah, The Fanatic. It's just the problem is it is kind of a nothing burger. Like there's just not enough for it to, like, it's not offensive enough to be like wild and memorable enough to become something like The Room or something really cringy like that. It's just something that's like, oh, they had some really bad ideas, but they executed it all fairly well.
And you said, okay, so you said you didn't, or you liked Moose. You thought that was an okay, like, because I like when they're talking about him not dying, like him being an unlikable main character. I feel like
I feel bad for him from the beginning. He's at a disadvantage over everyone here. Like people are being fucking assholes to him.
I guess, but like I feel like as soon as he kills the like house lady, and then
the one that Devin saw was cheating on his wife with.
Well, well, that's besides the point. He fucking kills her, and then immediately is like, nosebleeds suck. Are those wind chimes? And leaves, and we never get anything till later. That
just proved my point.
That's where he no longer became like a likable character for me, because he
doesn't know better.
He killed somebody.
Yeah, but he doesn't know better.
I'm sure you could tell when she had a pretty fucking outrageous nosebleed.
He knew. Oh, nosebleeds suck.
He didn't even go get her some gauze or like if he threw it like
he didn't even. Buzi, you're forgetting. He also didn't clean up her body.
I know that's totally fine, but like if he just threw a fucking band-aid on her or something just to be like, hey, that sucks. He didn't even do that. He just killed her and instantly got interested in wind chimes. That was the frustrating part for me.
A squirrel.
What was that?
Yeah, no, it is fucking wild. But another criticism is that like they fucking have the score of this movie is the same as Pleasure, like that movie, that art house porn movie I was talking about, where it's like it takes itself so seriously, when we could have just had like the opening to Roland, like the dun 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 dun. Like imagine that, even just like synth. Like missed opportunity. Yeah. Get up. What's up, Woodstock?
I got a question for you. Like, what other new metal guys have directed movies other than Fred Durst and Rob Zombie? Like, has anybody else like?
Well, he didn't direct it, but Jonathan Davis scored Queen of the Damned, which was pretty fucking tight and shit.
When's the last time you've seen Queen of the Damned, Jason?
I don't know if I might have seen it the year it came out.
You would love Queen of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned's fucking rule. It's just one big music video.
It is. But like that's what it
R.I.P.
It's just for some reason I feel like someone from Power Man 5000 was involved in a film some way. But
yeah, I just googled new metal musicians who directed movies, and there's an article that says When Worlds Collide.
Okay, my other guess was going to be like a Wayne Static. Maybe he might have before he died.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
R.I.P.
I feel like we need to make a different triple feature of like new metal guys directing movies, and I don't feel like we should include, like, I guess Glenn Danzig didn't do new metal, so I don't think like we could include Veronica.
I think the list is going to have to be like just the fact that new metal people were even in the movie, so you could count like the one Saw movie, because like Chester was in there.
See, that's a prime example though. Is I'm a fan of Limp Bizkit, and I'm a fan of.
Would you say you're a fanatic of Limp Bizkit?
Yes, I'm a fanatic. I am a fanatic. I'm the only fan in the world. But yeah, I don't have much more left to say about the Fanatic. I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts?
I feel like the ending was kind of frustrating, because you really just had kind of somebody just got framed for murder for existing, basically.
Yeah. And are you talking about the piss poor social commentary of Moose walking down,
and all the people want to get pictures with him,
and everyone wants to get pictures of him when half his hand's blown off and his eyes gouged out? I forgot about his eye getting gouged out. So that was a surprise again.
Well, the only reason that happened is because Devin Sawa ran out of bullets.
And he was being mean. Like he should have been nicer to Moose.
Yeah, he was being
Moose was
mean.
trying to tuck him in, kiss him on the head when he's sleeping. Using his kid's toothbrush.
Yeah, I feel like to recommend this movie to anybody would be like, if you're the one person in your friend group that hasn't seen it, watch it. To tell your friends it's not worth watching. It's just like I said, it's one of those things when you say it out loud. It's like Fred Durst, John Travolta with autism. You're like, man, this is gonna be hilarious, and it's just not. It's just kind of
There are
whatever.
a couple pretty funny moments, Jason.
There's funny moments like
I gotta poo.
Oh yeah, I gotta poo. When he's like, he ties up David Sawa and he's like, you need to have better snacks in your house. It's like, yeah, okay. So there's like a handful.
You're rich. Why don't you have ice cream?
It's got its moments, but like I don't know.
Overall, go movie.
It's a melodrama movie.
All right. Well, yeah, Jason, I can't imagine, or I'm not sure. Like, do you have anywhere that you want people to follow you, or you prefer to be more incognito?
Plug your shit.
No, I don't really. I have like social media to the extent like I kind of sort of use it for work and talking with. I have a bunch of friends that still don't have cell phones.
Yeah.
Like for some
Are you hanging out with the
reason.
pagan community? What the fuck?
No, I'm hanging out with guys named Barry that need bikes. So if you got bikes, let me know.
Barry wants bikes.
I'm Barry and head down to Barry's bike dealership. I got all kinds of bikes.
You want a bike? I got a bike.
I got blue bikes. I got red bikes. I got bikes with pegs. I got bikes with handlebars.
All right, so go down and check out Barry's when you're in town.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining, Jason. Of course, we're gonna have you back again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for just being one of the most amazing friends I've ever had.
And surviving COVID.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is where you do the Druid's hand plug now.
No, just that. Not even that. It's just you did help a substantial amount on that thing. You worked on it more than any of us did, and it's very appreciated. And you helped me get settled in this new place, and I really appreciate it. You obviously all that stuff. I just need to say it so everyone else can hear it.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, Buzi, got any last questions for Jason?
Oh, okay. To double back, actually, sorry before we go, like whether or not you guys
watch Reign of Fire, you fucking prick.
I'm never gonna watch Reign of Fire. Like I'm never gonna watch the new Batman. No, to double back to Degrassi, where you which actor from the Fanatic was in Degrassi?
The photographer, the younger photographer lady.
Okay, so I am working for someone that was on Degrassi right now, who played someone named Melanie.
Oh, I think Melanie was one of Kyle's favorites.
Yeah, that's Susan Nielsen.
Oh my god.
I am directly like working for her right now on like the TV show I'm on. She's like,
can you tell her I'm a huge fan of Degrassi and I love her and I want to give her smooches? Maybe not. Start later. We'll just start. I'm a big Degrassi.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, let's work up to that.
I will let her know when I see her
just
next
tell her
week.
that you're on a horror podcast recently and that one of the hosts loves Degrassi.
I'll tell her I was on a horror Degrassi
There you
podcast.
go.
And that Monroe Chambers has been on it, and they just talk about Degrassi nonstop, day in, day out, 24-hour Degrassi. You are the Fox News Degrassi.
We're the Fox News of Degrassi.
Hi, I'm Anthony Buzi, and welcome to Degrassi News.
I would love that. We're the fucking Fox News of Degrassi. Okay, all right. Well, thank you all for listening.
The school election was rigged. Tommy's not school president.
We got a bunch of cool episodes coming up for you, so stay tuned. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to tell your friends if they like this kind of shit.
I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.